Alright, what's going on, guys? So with all the hype and fun after the release of Elden Ring Night Rain, it feels weird to go back to the base game, back to the original Elden Ring, along with Shadow of the Erdtree. It makes you realize truly how different of an experience Night Rain is. And regardless of how much fun you've been having, it's about time to head back to Elden Ring, because many of us likely forgot that it's getting another DLC. Now, to be honest, we're throwing that term around loosely, but that's what FromSoftware themselves are calling the Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. And if you're someone that completely forgot that this was a thing and set to release pretty soon, I don't blame you. FromSoftware has not been marketing this at all. But it looks like that's about to change. It looks like we could be getting our hands on the Tarnished Edition very soon. And we got quite a bit to break down today. So as we get started, as always, if you want to stay up to date on all things Elden Ring and FromSoftware, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And now let's get into it. Now, before we dive into the new news today, let me get you back up to speed on what exactly Elden Ring Tarnished Edition even is, because I know a lot of you guys forgot and it's been a minute since we talked about it. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition is a re-release of the base game of Elden Ring, specifically targeted at the Nintendo Switch 2. This is set to be one of the flagship ports, a big highlight in the Nintendo Switch 2 catalog. However, surprisingly, it was not a launch title. When this new edition was revealed, they only gave a release date of sometime in 2025, but it would have made a lot of sense for it to launch alongside the Switch 2, but here we are and it's nowhere to be found. Now, Tarnished Edition is not simply the same game over again with no other reason to buy it than to simply play it on Switch. There is a bit of new content packaged within this version, and that has been confirmed to be releasing as an add-on for Elden Ring on other consoles as well. So what is all the new content? Well, first of all, there will be two new starting classes in the Tarnished Edition, and you can see them in this shot here. One is a sort of light armor knight, and the other is a much heavier knight. They do of course come with new armor sets and new weapons, and some people got to go demo this in-house at FromSoftware prior to the launch of Night Rain, and it wasn't really talked about because again Night Rain was the focus back then. But you can see them here on screen alongside the deprived starting class. In addition to those, there's another armor set which is Lucatiel's from Dark Souls 2, which you can see in this shot here, although there are some variations. Her iconic weapon is also making a return, the Mira Greatsword in Dark Souls 2 and known as the Hollow Slayer Greatsword in Dark Souls 3. Though it now seems to come with this red Matador's cape, as a sort of stance change with weapon art. And according to the product listing, there's going to be a fourth new armor set added to the game, though we don't yet know what that is. And the other new bit of content coming with the Tarnished pack is skin customizations for Torrent, and we've seen two new variations. The first is a Carian theme, which is on the cover of the Tarnished Edition, and the other is inspired by the Knight's Cavalry horses, which we got a glimpse of at the event. Now, the product listing states that there will be 3 skins in total, but we don't yet know if that includes the base skin of Torrent, or if there's been a third skin that has not been shown. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But that is the new content coming with the Tarnished pack. It's not much, but it is technically a new DLC for Elden Ring, and it will likely be sold separately, but we don't yet know exactly for how much. The big question though is, when exactly is this dropping? When will we get our hands on it? And that's what we have to talk about today. So overnight we learned that the Elden Ring Tarnished Edition had been rated by the ESRB. Now I gotta be honest, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, since the game already exists and already has an ESRB rating. But I guess since this technically is a new version of the game and a new release, they had to do a new one. But lo and behold, it's exactly the same. Now that's not the important part. The important part is what this means, because ESRB ratings are a massive indicator of release windows. Now it doesn't tell us an exact day number, but what we do know is that it's very close. It could be this week, it could be another month, but it's not long now, and we have a lot of other signs pointing to that as well. But let's run a few comparables first. The original Elden Ring release was rated by ESRB about a month and a half before its release, and that's pretty standard. It can vary quite a bit, but it's usually not a very long wait at all. But we do have some other signs to look at. Now there's a chance we actually get a release date announced tomorrow, and that's because Bandai Namco is kicking off a summer showcase with details about many upcoming Bandai Namco releases. Now the Tarnished Edition is technically a Nintendo release, but it's still a Bandai Namco product, so there is a chance they include it in this lineup. However, they already have a pretty lengthy list of games that are going to be covered at this event, such as some standouts like the new My Hero Academia game, Dawn Walker, and Code Vein 2. If they were to say something about the Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, it really wouldn't be much more than a passing mention. Maybe they have a new trailer, maybe they drop a little teaser with the release date at the end, but we'll just have to wait and see. By the time this video goes out, it'll only be about a day before that showcase anyway. Now, the real place we'll probably get a release date is at a Nintendo Direct, and there are surprisingly a lot of rumors including Elden Ring, that a Nintendo Direct could be just around the corner. And the first reference for that is a leak from the YouTuber Beat-em-Ups, stating that he knows a Direct is coming sometime in July, as a sort of refresher after the launch of Switch 2, to kind of remind everybody about what's coming out. And I think that makes perfect sense because the catalog on the Switch 2 right now is very dry. There aren't very many good games on there. Games that are exclusive to the Switch 2 that you can't just go ahead and play on other consoles. So a Direct to get everybody up to speed makes perfect sense to me. But he also lists a lot of specific games that'll be showing up, such as Metaphor, NSO GameCube games Shadow Drops including Pokemon Colosseum, Witcher 3 on Switch 2, Death Stranding on Switch 2, and then a release date for Metroid Prime 4, which we are still waiting on. And side note, I don't know how many of you guys saw that London train station debacle with the Metroid Prime 4 sign. Yeah, we need that release date now. And the reason I think this leak is decently likely is because he lists things that are super specific. This isn't just a darts on the board leak. Clearly he was told something. But there were other less credible leaks talking about a July Direct that mentioned Elden Ring showing up, so if it's not at the Bandai Showcase, this next Direct would be a good place to look for it. And I think that timing works out perfectly with the ESRB rating. It's enough of a space after Night Rain, and we're rolling over into the new fiscal quarter in Japan, which actually kicks off right now. It's a great time to say, hey, we just released Elden Ring Night Rain, we just released the Switch 2, here's some more stuff to look forward to, including this new re-release of Elden Ring that's going to drum up a ton of cash. And then maybe we see the actual release date sometime early August or so. That makes it look good on the investors report. That actually lets us get through all the enhanced Night Lords before more Elden Ring news comes out pertaining to their games. And that fills a period between keeping us occupied in Night Rain with these enhanced Night Lords and the start of marketing for the DLC, which is going to be happening later this year. To me, that makes perfect sense. That's actually a bit too perfect if they're going to do it that way. But hey, maybe it drops tomorrow with the Bandai Showcase. Personally, I doubt it. I think there's a bit too much going on right now. But hey, I'd be happy to be pleasantly surprised. I need an excuse to jump back into Elden Ring. I just need to switch to Pro Controller first. Ain't no way I'm playing a Souls-like on Joy-Cons. But that's what we know so far. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, Tarnished Pack, whatever you want to call it. The next technical DLC is releasing very soon. We can pretty much count on it within the next few weeks, or maybe a month. Either way, it ain't gonna be long. But what I want to know, is it gonna be enough to get you to jump back into Elden Ring for yet another playthrough? To check out all the new content? I think it will be for me. I am actually surprisingly excited for this. I want to do a Lucatiel playthrough. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And it'll actually give me something to do on the Switch too. Either way though, if you're excited, let me know by leaving a like on the video and subscribe if you're new around here. And with all that, I will catch you in the next one.